I touch turn to gold. Ain't I something special? This one for my haters, I'm a motivator. I make them niggas wanna do better. I want too much, I can never settle. Settle for less, nigga, I can never. If she did better, I probably would've kept her. But oh well, I found something better, and she gon' do me better.
Alright, man, so for the people who watching, I done caught up with Big Smile. Y'all probably know her from Streetbeefs. Fighting the MMA, man, we finna get straight to it. First off, man, how you doing today?
Feeling great, man. You know, it's been Good Friday. Got some good training in. You know, work was good. How you feeling?
I can't complain, bro. I'm living. Alright, so for the people who don't know you, bro, where you from, where you grew up, and what was it like growing up there?
So I'm from Fairfax, Virginia. If people don't know, that's like Northern Virginia. So, you know, 20, 30 minutes outside of D.C. And spent most of my life here. And, you know, it's a nice area to grow up. Pretty multicultural. There's like pretty good paying jobs out here, but things are kind of expensive. So it's a nice area to live. I enjoy it.
Right on. Did you play any other sports growing up before you got into MMA?
Yeah, I was always a huge football player, and I wrestled as well. I always kind of looked at wrestling as a way to supplement my football. Until my senior year, I really got into wrestling. I really liked the aspect that I didn't have to rely on anybody like football. That could be kind of frustrating. So I really enjoyed, you know, being able to just rely on myself and perform.
Right, so in football, what position did you play in football?
So I played O and D line. I was mostly a pulling guard on offense. That was like my specialty. I was around the same size. So I was like 260 back then. I was pretty heavy, but I was fast. I would pull, and, you know, running back would get right behind me. I'd make some good blocks.
Nah, that's what's up. You still a football fan right now?
You know, a little bit. I really like the sport. I don't get too into it, though. I mostly watch fighting.
All right, so let's get into that, man. How did you get into MMA?
Well, you know, I went to college for 1 year, and I wrestled while I was there. And, you know, I didn't perform like I would like to. So I'd say it kind of left a chip on my shoulder. And I've kind of always been hungry for competition since then. So I got into some other martial arts like jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. But MMA is really what's made me like feel whole. And ever since I watched MMA, even when I was like 14, 15 years old, I knew that one day I'd be fighting in it for sure.
That's what's up. Alright, so who was your favorite MMA fighter growing up?
Growing up, definitely Anderson Silva. Because when, like, the prime time of me getting into fighting, he just looked unstoppable. He looked like he wasn't even human. You know, he was like, there were always championship fights, and he was always knocking people out. And it looked like he was just playing, having fun, and then boom, front kicks you in the face, knees you in the face, and you're slumped. So I love that. I love that about him.
That's what's up. Did you get a chance to see his last fight versus Cesar Chavez, his boxing match?
I saw the highlights of it. I didn't see it live, but I
It
was
looked
very
good,
impressed.
bro. Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely want to see him do some more boxing because he looked great. I want to see him fight Roy Jones because they had talked about it for so long.
Oh.
They used to want to fight back in the day, and I think it's a little bit more of a realistic fight nowadays. It'd be a pretty good matchup.
Yeah. That's something to look out for right there, man. Speaking on the MMA versus boxing, I don't know if you been catching up with Shannon Briggs versus Rampage Jackson.
Oh, that hasn't happened yet, right? That's,
It's supposed to, though. They're supposed to make it official. They say the undercard is gonna be boxing versus MMA. Well, in the boxing match, though.
I like that. That's a good matchup. You know, Shannon Briggs might be a little bit older than Rampage, but he seems like so active. Like he's always training, always coaching. And Rampage might have let himself go a little bit. So that's a pretty good matchup. I like that. I might have to go with Briggs on that one.
Right on. They doing MMA too now. It's a 2-fight deal, supposedly. They say they gonna do boxing first. And then Briggs gonna go over to MMA.
I think Rampage should be able to win the MMA fight as long as he trains properly.
Right on. Alright, who is your favorite MMA fighter right now?
Right now?
This generation.
Let's see. Man, that's tough. The way I look at things, sometimes I'm always looking at people as competition. So, let's see. I mean, I really like DC and Khabib were both my big time fighters, and they just retired. But you know, I like Dustin Poirier. I like Kazmat. Islam. I think I'm gonna like Islam a lot more over his next few fights.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said you look at everybody like competition, because I was gonna ask you. So if you was in 5-round shape, they go in the UFC 5 rounds, right?
If it's a title fight, it's 5 rounds. If not, it's 3 rounds.
Okay. You know, if you was in professional shape, man, and you had the opportunity to fight anybody in the UFC right now, who you'll take on?
Who'd I take on? I'd probably take on anybody in the UFC. A little bit of a step up in competition.
You know, if
shit,
you was in shape.
I'd fight somebody like Stipe. I don't want to fight Nagano right now, but I'd fight Stipe.
Oh, really?
Fuck it.
Look back at this interview, you know what I'm saying? You might get that fight, man. Never know.
I better be careful, right?
Alright, have you had any chance to meet anybody in the UFC or spar any, professional athletes?
I spar professional athletes almost every day, but I've met I met Matt Serra at a jiu-jitsu tournament in New York. He was a cool guy, man, and he's even stockier in person. It was crazy. He was a good guy. It was nice to meet him.
That's what's up. Shout out to him.
And I met Ryan Hall as well. I met Ryan Hall at his BJJ gym. It's in Falls Church, so it's pretty close to me.
Oh, okay. That's what's up. How did you get the name Big Smile?
So, my coach, one of my old coaches gave it to me, and it just has a lot to do with my personality. Whenever I walk up, I always have a huge grin on my face. Whenever I enter a room, I try and show that positivity and get everybody else smiling and laughing with me. And yeah, that's the main thing. And I'm a big boy as well.
This was so.
And I always treat people very nice and respectfully as well.
Okay, now going back to the MMA, it's a tough sport, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big boxing fan. I'm into boxing. I always felt like to do MMA, bro, you gotta have an extra edge. You know what I'm saying? So tell me, what you think give you that extra edge? Why not just boxing? Why MMA?
Well, I think a huge part of that is because I have a grappling background. I I have elite level wrestling. I'm a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. So I put in so much work that MMA just feels like more natural to me. And I also like the idea of more things are available. Less is off limits. Boxing is a little bit more, it's pure. It's a beautiful sport, but it's you can only punch, right? I love being able to, knee you in the head, kick you in the legs, take you down. I love being able to mix it all up.
That's what's up. So after an MMA fight, man, how long does it usually take you to recover?
Man, it really depends on how that fight goes. Most of my fights so far, I could fight the next day. Some of them I could fight 2 minutes later. It really depends. But you get in a real scrap with real tough competition, you might not fight for 6 months. Really depends on how it goes. But I've been pretty blessed so far.
That's what's up. So, what is your training like? What is your training like, and how often do you train?
So right now, I've been training. So I go to work in the morning. I already work at the gym. I work with the kids at the gym. So I clock in. I work for a few hours. Then I sign out and I train at 11 a.m. almost every weekday. And then I try and spar on Saturday and Sundays.
What was your first sparring MMA like? Sparring. What was your first time sparring like, if you can remember?
Honestly, my first time sparring MMA was probably way before I was ever a fighter. Back in high school, one of my old friends, Colton, rest in peace, he's the wildest young man ever. And as soon as I got into the party, keep in mind, I'm probably about 90 pounds, 80 pounds, almost 100 pounds heavier than him. But someone had brought gloves to the party. and he had like beat somebody up right before that, so he was feeling hype. He wanted to fight the biggest person in the room.
Yeah.
So as soon as I came in, he was like, "Matt, I'm gonna whoop your ass." Like, he was like, he's the type of person, he's your friend, but he'll say the type of shit to make you want to fight him. So he's like, "You know, you're a bitch. Like, I'll beat the shit out of you." He's like, "If not, everyone's gonna think you're a bitch because you won't fight me." So like, I didn't even want to fight him because like, he's smaller than me. He's my boy, but he made me do it. So right away we got to it. I landed some big shots on him, like boxing wise, and I just thought we were boxing. But then he tried to take me down, and I was the wrestler and he wasn't. So I was like, "Oh shit, you done fucked up now." I picked him up, slammed him, choked him out, and then we got back to partying, back to being boys.
That's crazy. Crazy story right there, man.
It's tough, man. Like, some people, it's tough when someone dies at such a young age, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what I am grateful for is he lived every minute to the fullest. Like, he's still done so much shit I've never done to this day. And he passed away a few years ago, so he lived a full life for how young he was.
All smiles, all peace.
He's 2-0 in Satan's backyard.
Big smile. All smiles, all peace until we get in the cage, and then I'm snatching teeth. Let's go.